चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। So chapter name is Associating with Krishna, and Prabhupada starts with the conclusion of the previous chapter, how he concluded. He concluded saying that detachment is possible in Krishna consciousness also, but in a very natural way. Not like impersonalists or Buddhists, how they practice detachment by giving up everything and say that there is nothing beyond this material, and material energies also fall, so everything is nothing. That is their philosophy. But in Krishna consciousness, we develop a higher taste for service to Krishna, and in that way the detachment to other things happen naturally, because once they are lower in taste to us, then the higher taste is what we look for always to be in, and the lower becomes insignificant. We don't hanker for it anymore. So that is a way of natural detachment. And also, Prabhupada tells about the difference between the spiritual sky and the material sky. He says, materially, we see so many quarrels happening between nations, between so many castes, creeds, so many divisions, and even planets like the Devaloka and the Asuras, they fight. But in spiritual sky, all the planets, all the Vaikuntha planets, who are presided over by the Lord's, the Supreme Lord's manifestations only. He is the one who is expanding himself into so many manifestations. So there is no rival to him. Everyone is the same. And here, this is like a prison house. Prabhupada says this is like a prison house occupying a very insignificant portion of the complete creation. Like our prison house, it occupies a small portion of the full city. So we can imagine, if this insignificant portion of this material universe is so big, how big is the spiritual sky? And also he tells about the inhabitants of the spiritual sky, the types of liberations, Sayujya, Sarupya, Salokya, and Samipya, out of which Sayujya he doesn't consider as liberation at all. Devotees don't consider, Vaishnava devotees don't consider Sayujya Mukti, that is merging into the impersonal aspect of the Lord. The Brahmajyoti is also the Lord's effulgence only, but although it is a Lord's aspect only, but we don't consider merging into it as liberation, because there is no service, there is no reciprocation between the servant and the master there. So that is not at all desirable. And ultimately, those who desire to emerge there, when they miss this aspect of ananda there, they consequently eventually they wanted to again enjoy material life only. So they come back here, because they cannot go from there to spiritual world without Krishna consciousness. So come here, then either enjoy or learn the lesson and start Krishna consciousness. Either of that. And then also it is now given a higher purpose in the next paragraph. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prayer in the Shikshashtakam is quoted, wherein he's telling, I don't want anything. I don't want even liberation. I want, if you want me to be here and be in Krishna consciousness, give your service, birth after birth, I am ready to serve you. So that is a consciousness of a pure devotee. So the book name is Birth Beyond Birth and Death. We do not want birth anymore. That again the cycle of birth and death anymore. But Prabhupada says Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being the exemplary pure devotee, is playing the role of a pure devotee. So he says, no problem. If you want me to take birth again, I will take. But I should be engaged in Krishna consciousness all the time. 24 hours Krishna consciousness in the service mood to you. That is what I want. Wherever you put me, in spiritual kingdom or in animal kingdom or human society, wherever. So he prays that the Lord prays that he will not forget the Lord, and he will be able to engage in the transcendental service always. Now, coming to uh, what Krishna says about leaving the body at certain intervals of time in Bhagavad Gita. So, there are some intervals of time given in Bhagavad Gita by Krishna himself, like passing away in the light, that is daylight, at any auspicious moments, good muhurtas, during the Krishna Paksha, that is waxing moon fortnight, and 6 months where sun travels to the north, that is Uttarayana. During these times, if someone passes, then they will get a higher destination. By chance, if someone passes like this. And Prabhupada says, what Prabhupada says, this is all by chance. We do not know when we are going to die, and we may die accidentally at any time. But for one who is a bhakti yogi, who is established in Krishna consciousness, there is no question of chance. He's always sure. He's always sure of what? That he'll go to Krishna only. So Bhakti Yogi doesn't take into consideration all these timings and muhurtas, because for him, all the muhurtas are best muhurtas, because all the muhurtas he's remembering Krishna. If Krishna is with him, what can go wrong? So that is the consciousness of a devotee. So now, this is a paragraph that we have to start with. It has already been ascertained that at the time of death, if one can think of Krishna, he is immediately transferred to the abode of Krishna. So this is in the second chapter only, all these two shlokas. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshayah. This one already Prabhupada has quoted in the second chapter of this book. So that's why he's telling it has already been ascertained. He has already mentioned this, that at the time of death, if one can think of Krishna, he can immediately transfer to the abode of Krishna. Whichever time of the day or time of the fortnight or time of the year he leaves his body, doesn't matter for a devotee. अभ्यास योग युक्तेन चेतसा नान्यगामिन परमं पुरुषं दिव्यं याति पार्थानुचिन्तयन्. And whoever at the time of death quits his body remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. He who meditates on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha Arjuna, is sure to reach me. So, this is Krishna giving the assurance, sure to reach me. If he remembers me alone, only Krishna. Only if someone remembers Krishna, not that he remembers many things along with that also Krishna. No, only Krishna. And then he will attain to Krishna's nature, that is spiritual nature. There is no doubt about it. Krishna is reassuring, saying no doubt, and then sure to. So this surety is given in this shloka twice. There is no doubt about it, and there is a surety. Okay. This paragraph, who will read such meditation on Krishna?
I will read Mataji.
Yes,
Hare
ma'am.
Krishna.
Jai Prabhupada.
From such meditation on Krishna may seem very difficult, but it is not. If one practices Krishna consciousness by chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, he will quickly help it. Krishna and his name are non-different, and Krishna and his transcendental abode are also non-different. By sound vibration, we can have Krishna associate with us. If, for instance, we chant Hare Krishna on the street, we will see that Krishna is going with us. Just as when we look up and see the moon overhead, we perceive that it is also going with us. If Krishna's inferior energy may appear to go with us, is it not possible for Krishna himself to be with us when we are chanting his names? he will keep us company, but we have to qualify to be in his company. If whoever we are always merged in the thought of Krishna, we should rest assured that Krishna is always with us. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays, नाम्नामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिस् तत्रार्पितनियमितस्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशं मिहाजनिना अनुरागः. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction upon the living beings, and therefore you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies, and there is no hard and fast rule for chanting those holy names. O my Lord, you have so kindly made approach to you easy by your holy names. But unfortunate as I am, I have no attraction for them. Sikshashtaka, second standard. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, so Sikshashtakam, this is the second paragraph, and gradually as the paragraphs go forward, the level of consciousness of devotees is taken higher and higher. So this is a second one wherein the devotee in the initial stages feels like that I have no attraction for Krishna's names. When will I have Krishna's attraction for Krishna's names? This is a this is the only sorrow in the devotee's life. There is no other sorrow. When he's in the sadhana stage, he wants to develop attraction for Krishna's holy names, that the transcendental energy of the Lord and everything is invested in these names. But also, it is very easy. There is no hard and fast rules for chanting these holy names. Still, you have given so much mercy, my Lord. But it is me who is unfortunate. I have no attraction. And gradually, the Sikshastakam prayers will move. Then the prayers will get deeper and deeper. But second is very beautiful for the sadhaka. And also Prabhupada gives that this consciousness of a pure devotee, how he thinks. How many of us has this experience of thinking that the moon is walking with us when we walk? As a child, we see many times, we feel that the moon is walking with us. While traveling also from a car or a bus, we see moon, it seems like it is traveling with us. It is also moving with us. But for a devotee, the similar thing Prabhupada is telling, when he chants the holy names, he knows that Krishna is with me. He's so Krishna conscious. While even he is walking on the streets and chanting Namar Sankirtana is happening, he knows that Krishna is going with me. In the form of his holy names, he's always with me. So this is a consciousness of a devotee. And chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, I want to share a purport from the second canto. Yeah, let me share that with you all. Someone needs to mute. Yeah, so second chapter, 30th verse. Second canto, second chapter, 30th verse. In this purport, Prabhupada gives a lot of information about how to chant. I wanted to share that with you. See. Yeah. So one has to protect the creeper of bhakti. That is what is the theme of this purport. And the creeper, actually the seed of devotion is given by Guru, and he's telling to now protect this creeper nicely and chant by watering it. No, that is sorry, water it by chanting the holy names. The water to the seed is the holy names. Now, how to water? How to chant? That is a point. Some points Prabhupada is giving here. Okay. Therefore, he should be mindful of the following considerations, because the devotee should be always mindful so that the creeper will grow nicely and will not be cut off at any time. So he has to be very mindful of the following considerations. First is offense by one at the feet of pure devotee. Maybe it is mentioned too, it is like what? Like a mad elephant who devastates a very good garden if it enters. So offenses are like mad elephants, especially Vaishnava Aparadh here. It is like a mad elephant. Mad elephant, how it is? Usually only elephants, if you see, they do not care about how to walk properly inside a garden without harming the plants and all. They don't care about it. But if it is a mad elephant, how it will be? It just is uh, doesn't abide by anything. It just uproots everything and destroys everything. Similarly, this offense to pure devotees, Vaishnavas, it destroys everything that very carefully we are growing in our garden of bhakti. All the bhakti lata seeds are sown nicely, we are watering it. And now what happens? This mad elephant, if it enters, destroys everything in seconds. Doesn't take much time. And second, he says, one must be very careful to guard himself against offenses at the feet of pure devotees, just as one protects a creeper by all around fencing. So this fencing has to be done. Okay, we know that now the mad elephant will come. What will we see? What will we do? We'll put a nice guard. Every time we'll be very consciously seeing if anything the mind is getting into it where the offense can happen. Starting stage only the offense is the guard. It is guarded. No, you cannot come inside like that. Then third one, it so happens that by the watering process, some weeds are grown, and unless such weeds are uprooted, the nurturing of the main creeper. I think I have this call to take 2 minutes. So the third one is it so happens that by watering process, some weeds are also grown, and unless such weeds are uprooted, the nurturing of the main creeper or the creeper of Bhakti Yoga may be hampered. So what is it? Also, the garden, in that garden, weeds will be uprooted, weeds will be growing. Like when, Apologies, Mataji, that was an important call actually. Um, so the weeds, we were talking about the weeds, how they also grow along with the our Bhakti Lata, how this creeper of Bhakti, along with that, the weeds are also going. What are these weeds? The weeds are now the desires of material enjoyment. Mhm. So this is a problem. So whenever there is a chanting, there is Maya attacking through material desires. Whenever we want to water the Bhakti Lata nicely, and along with that, there will be desires. And if we immediately do not recognize those desires as unwanted weeds, these are unwanted desires that are presented by Maya. These are actually not wanted. I do not need these at all. For my bhakti and my progress to spiritual sky, these desires are have no meaning at all. But if the one doesn't recognize them and uproot them, uprooting means neglecting those thoughts of desires, then what happens? That instead of the water going to the bhakti lata, the water will go to the weeds. That meaning our chanting will act in a way that the weeds are growing nicely. We are thinking that we are chanting nicely, but chanting will is happening along with all the other distractions, and the weeds are growing nicely. Instead of the Bhakti Lata. Bhakti Lata is getting weaker and weaker. The weeds are getting stronger and stronger through chanting only again. That is a problem. So that chanting won't help the Bhakti Lata in any way. No. Fourth point. Actually, these weeds are material enjoyment, merging of the self in the absolute without separate individuality, and many other desires in the field of religion, economic development, sense gratification, emancipation. Even merging with the Lord also is one kind of material enjoyment only. I just want to become God. I don't want to separately serve Him. I just want to merge into the existence of God. That is one kind of material enjoyment only. So that is also a weed. If these thoughts are there, then the weeds will get stronger and stronger. The Bhakti Lata gets weaker and weaker. And because if one is chanting, one doesn't identify with this that my bhakti is getting down. He will think that I'm chanting nicely, but weeds are getting stronger. And your pride of chanting will increase. All those unnecessary anarthas will increase. Instead of decreasing the anarthas will increase. Now, the fifth one. There are many other weeds like disobedience to the tenets of the revered scriptures, unnecessary engagements, killing animals, hankering after material gain, prestige, adoration. Hmm. So that is how these false gurus they also take shape, and they also do bhakti in the name of chanting and doing all the yagyas, tapas. But actually, what happens? They are hankering after material gain, prestige, adoration, making followers, becoming a big guru or whatever, and this hankering increases for fame, and they disobey the scriptures also. That is like sidetracking and engaging in other unnecessary engagements. Like they will think of some doing some philanthropic work here only, giving poor food and shelter and hospitals, building big hospitals, whatever. This is all necessary for the body and soul to be together, but the purpose of the soul really is not to be here only and keep changing bodies and maintaining those bodies. And the purpose is to go back to the spiritual world. So that is deviated. This happens when the weeds are getting stronger and the scriptures are no more adhered to. If sufficient care is not taken, then the watering process may only help to breed the weeds. Now, what happens? More and more weeds get breeded. If a garden is not maintained properly, immediately all that is uh, occupied with some weeds. How they are growing? Because the water is going to the weeds, and weeds are spreading nicely. And now this is stunting the healthy growth of the main creeper and resulting in no fructification of the ultimate requirement, that is love of God. This is the fruit that we want, love of God. But that fruit will not come because the main growth of the creeper only is stunted now. And what is growing more? The weeds are growing. So, seventh one, the devotee must therefore be very careful to uproot the different weeds in the very beginning. In the very beginning, only identify all the material desires or anything that Maya brings up. Immediately say, no thanks, I don't want this. I want Krishna only. Like how Krishna was telling, right? In Bhagavad Gita, we read, if anyone remembers me only at the time of death. For him, no time considerations like day or night or Shukla Paksha, Krishna Paksha doesn't matter. So only Krishna we want, and uproot everything else. Any thought that comes, immediately catch it as soon as possible, before it becomes a bigger thought and turns into a strong desire. Catch the unwanted desires at the beginning only and uproot them. Say, talk to them. I don't need you. I don't need you for Krishna. Is it needed for Krishna consciousness? And then it may give all kinds of reasons. You actually need this for Krishna consciousness, that, this. Then approach the devotees and take counseling, be under a guru who will direct nicely and say that uh, I actually, I'm happy without anything of these desires for Krishna consciousness, but these desires are coming up again and again and telling that you need this for Krishna consciousness. Is it so or not? Is it only my mind playing the games? That way, if someone else is also shared with the desires that come, they will be able to identify clearly for us. So that is one way of doing it. So anyway, uproot these weeds in the very beginning by self or by counseling or whatever is required. And by doing so, eighth point, the devotee is able to relish the fruit of love of God and thus live practically with love with Lord Krishna, even in this life, and be able to see the Lord in every step. Hmm. So that is what we were discussing, right? The while doing Nama Sankirtana, the devotee feels the Lord is with me, like how the moon, a person feels that it is walking with me. So at every step, he feels that I am with Krishna. I am able to see Krishna, even in this life, even while here being here in material existence in this material world, he will be able to relish the fruit of love of God. When the roots are not there, nicely this creeper grows and gives the fruit. So, the highest perfection of life is to enjoy life constantly in the association of the Lord. And one who can relish this does not aspire after any temporary enjoyment of the material world via other media. He doesn't want any other enjoyment through something else. If any enjoyment is there, I want it through Krishna's association only. That's all. I don't want anything separate from Krishna. Is it fine? This is a purport that I wanted to share with you because a lot of importance about chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is given in this paragraph, and associating with Krishna by constant sound vibration is also given. But whenever there is a deviation, there is a distraction, there is a material desire that is coming up, you have to immediately catch it and address it and uproot it. That you, I don't need this. I don't need you. And it is there that every time chant, while we chant, there will be, that is the time that Maya gets alert and gives stronger distractions. That is the time she thinks that now we are fighting with it, right? Now this is a battle time, and she will use all her strong weapons. And our strongest weapon is Hare Krishna mantra, and by Guru's mercy, identifying the weapons that Maya is using and counteracting them with loud chanting of Hare Krishna mantra and taking help of devotees in the association of devotees and reading these uh, the Prabhupada books and these paragraphs focusing on how to chant and how not to chant. These are our weapons. With these we will fight the weapons that Maya throws during our chanting time. Even one discussion was happening a few days ago in some other group. They say that during chanting, some service thoughts only will come. They are also service only. Chanting is also service only. So, what is wrong? So, I should give priority to those service thoughts also. I cannot just neglect them. If I neglect them, then I'm neglecting the service. How then I need to address. So, immediately I pick up some phone or some laptop and start working on that. And my chanting keeps pending. What to do? So, the thing is, That chanting time is charging time. Correct? It is a watering time. Like how the phone is charging, the same time you start using it also. What happens? It doesn't charge properly. What kind of conversation you can have with such a phone which is not charged properly? Similarly, if your services are like the power to services, a spiritual power you are getting from chanting. It is not that you are doing the services based on your education or your status or anything, or your communication skills. That this those are all material only. Main power comes from chanting, from your spiritual purity. Otherwise, services are just activities. Then they are also karma only. With if there is no Krishna consciousness in it. So Krishna conscious potency will come through chanting only. That will help us to do the services in Krishna conscious way. So if the chanting is not happening properly, the charging of the phone is not happening properly, how will you use the phone? So charging time is different and using time is different for a phone. Similarly, chanting time is different and services time is different. If any thought related to services comes